Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Igshaan Samsodien and I'm a student at the INSAFE University. And today I will be presenting my project paper on sustainability and value-based intermediation in Islamic banking. Now, I would like to start off by looking at things from a global perspective. The global financial landscape has shifted significantly over the past decade, right? Where sustainability, ethical finance, as well as long term societal well being are no longer an optional consideration. Rather, it has become, one would say, it has become a expectation, right? Where the Sustainable Development Goals, or also known as the SDGs, in particular, have pushed financial institutions to think carefully about the impact that their decisions have on people and on the environment. Now, if you look at this in context, finance is not just a commercial activity anymore, but rather it is a driver of resilience and human development. Now, if we put this into context in terms of Islamic finance, in Islamic finance, this shift does not actually feel foreign. Rather, the principles of Maqasid al-Sharia already emphasize principles of justice, balance, social upliftment, as well as harm prevention. However, the literature points out that despite its strong foundations, Islamic banking has gradually drifted towards practices that look very similar to conventional banking. Now, this can be problematic, right? Now, to address this concern, if you look at Bank Negara in Malaysia, they've actually introduced value-based intermediation, or VBI, in 2017 and 2018. This is very interesting, where value-based intermediation is intended to realign Islamic banking with its ethical and social purpose by ensuring that the products, the services, as well as the conduct create positive and sustainable impact. Now, if you look at the literature portion of my paper, Sustainability in Finance, the literature highlights that sustainability requires financial institutions to consider how their decisions affect society in the long run. If you look at Zoraida and her colleagues, they show that sustainability is tied to human well-being, environment health, and it's linked to economic resilience, right? Whereas if you look at what Ayub says, he explains that the failures of past development efforts demonstrate the dangers of separating financial profit from social responsibility. It's very dangerous, right, according to what is written. Now, for Islamic finance, sustainability fits naturally within its framework. And this is the beauty of Islamic finance. The values of fairness and harm prevention already sit at the core of Islamic finance and its purpose. Now, if we move on to Islamic finance, its foundations, and value-based intermediation, the Maqasid of Sharia serves as the ethical compass for Islamic finance, right? It reminds us that financial activity should preserve the essential human interests. Mahadi and the colleagues show that Islamic social finance deepens this through the instruments like zakah and waqf, which promote community support and shared prosperity. Now, value-based intermediation builds on these foundations, the things that are core to Islamic finance. Its four thrusts encourage Islamic banks to strengthen governance, think entrepreneurially, empower communities, and act with integrity. These thrusts reflect what Islamic finance is meant to embody in practice. Now, if you look at things from a critical analysis lens, the strengths, we'll start with the strengths. Conceptually, value-based intermediation aligns with, it aligns very strongly with Islamic values. It takes Islamic finance beyond compliance and encourages banks to focus on long-term value creation. Tok and Yusuf provide evidence that value-based institutions, they tend to have stronger resilience, especially in terms of asset quality and risk management. Therefore, we could say that value-based intermediation, according to the literature, has the potential to differentiate Islamic banking and reaffirm its identity as an ethical financial system. And this is where Islamic banking should be, right? Now, as much as we are talking about what its strengths are, we have to realize that there are some challenges as well. Now, if you look at this critically, the literature also highlights several practical challenges. Firstly, the organizational culture remains a barrier. Many banks still operate on a profit maximization mindset, which is very capitalistic in essence. And this makes it difficult to prioritize long-term impact. Secondly, there is limited technical expertise, unfortunately. So there needs to be building of more technical expertise, especially in ESG and sustainability risk management. Thirdly, measurement tools such as the VBI scorecard are still developing and may not fully capture the depth of value creation. And lastly, I would say that the adoption across institutions is inconsistent at this moment, which affects the strength of the overall industry. Well, if we look at VBI and ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance, there is a strong alignment between value-based intermediation and ESG. But also, there are clear differences, right? ESG provides a global structure for sustainability, whereas value-based intermediation, it's rooted in Sharia. This gives value-based intermediation a deeper moral foundation, but it also creates challenges, especially when institutions lack the technical knowledge to integrate sustainability metrics with Sharia considerations. Now, if we look at some of the recommendations, according to my paper, to strengthen value-based intermediation implementation, several steps are necessary. Firstly, we need to look at Sharia governance, where it must play a more active role in shaping sustainability decisions. Secondly, measurement tools should be enhanced by combining the value-based intermediation scorecard or VBI scorecard with the VBI AF for more reliable evaluation. Thirdly, the internal capacity must be built. This internal capacity, we're talking about the staff that needs training in sustainability, impact assessment, as well as ESG risks. Because the industry is nothing without the people, so we need to build up their expertise. In addition to this, Islamic social finance instruments can be used more strategically to develop high impact products such as SDG, social development goals, linked financing, or Waqf supported structures. Finally, the industry wide alignment is important, right? What we mean by this is the regulators and practitioners must work together to ensure consistent reporting, adoption of frameworks, and shared learning. Now, if we move along into the conclusion, in conclusion, VBI provides a meaningful pathway to realign Islamic banks with its true purpose, right? While there are challenges related to readiness, capability, and measurement, the literature also shows us that value-based intermediation can strengthen the resilience and identity of Islamic banks. And if the industry strengthens governance, invests in knowledge for the sake of staff, etc., and collaborates effectively, then value-based intermediation can become a powerful driver of value, impact, and especially barakah. And with that, I'll end. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.